The following footage was captured using PlayStation 4 Pro hardware. The use of software emulation is not allowed.
NieR Automata was released in early 2017, a wonderful game to experience, and by far the most impressive showcase of Platinum Games' technical prowess on 8th generation home consoles. It is a title that I've, since release, spent hundreds of hours not just playing, but also reverse engineering to explore in unseen ways. Something I tend to do with certain video games which I particularly enjoy. In 2018, the director of NieR Automata mentioned in an interview with Famitsu magazine that there was perhaps some final secret still left undiscovered in the game, which may be a problem if it were ever found out. And while this led to some uncertainty in the following years as to whether or not this was some kind of misunderstanding during the translation of the preceding conversation, it has nonetheless remained in the thoughts of NieR fans ever since. While most of my work delving into NieR Automata involves restoring developer debugging modes that were removed from the retail version before launch, I was recently looking through the engine and discovered a section of code that stood out to me as something I'd never seen actually being used by the game in any context, listed as Cheat Command Manager, and so decided to look into what would potentially cause it to be activated. Without delving too much into the technical side of my work, I was able to leverage a lot of my knowledge I had gained over the past year to reverse engineer this function and discover what would eventually be confirmed as being NieR Automata's final secret, a cheat code to skip to the game's final moments and unlock Chapter Select, Debug Mode, the Debug Room, and the Trophy Shop. To trigger this cheat code, we need to be in a very specific part of the game. During NieR Automata's prologue, we come to the game's first boss fight. 2B encounters and needs to defeat a large machine called Marx. Afterwards, she has a short conversation with 9S.
I've got a flight unit, so I'll take a look around the perimeter.
Alright, I'll work my way inside from the ground.
Once they've finished speaking, this is the only chance we have to activate the cheat code. If we were instead to proceed ahead with the mission, as soon as we reach the room where the doors close and we're forced into a combat encounter, we'll never be able to activate the code. Even if we were to then backtrack from here to that original area, the opportunity will have been missed regardless. By the way, if you have already unlocked Chapter Select on your save file and would like to skip straight to this part of the game, it's Chapter 1-2_3, 2B inside the factory. So while remaining in this large open area, with Marx defeated and 9S having just flown away, we need to take 2B and have her stand between these two sets of 3 barrels, likely placed here specifically to mark the location where the cheat code can be entered, as it will not work anywhere else in the entire area. Remaining in this place, we then need to hold the R2 button on the gamepad. We need to press up, down, up, right, left, square, circle, triangle, cross. Despite her erratic movements, if we manage to keep 2B in this spot for the entire process, the cheat code will work and the screen will fade to black. With this activated, the game will skip all the way to the post-credits scene of the final ending. And while I won't spoil the specifics, this unlocks Chapter Select, Debug Mode, the Debug Room, and the in-game trophy store. Normally, the player would need to finish the game 3 times to unlock these, so of course this is a huge time saver. Beyond this, we are also presented with the game's final choice to delete all of our save data and unlock the hidden title screen, normally reserved for players who complete the 5th ending. So of course this cheat code, simply for the fact that it unlocks Chapter Select in the in-game debug mode, is extremely handy for just having fun messing around with the game right from the start. Now, of course, it's quite difficult to actually perform this cheat code because keeping 2B in one place while pressing all of those buttons can be almost impossible. So to make that easier, just pause the game while standing between the barrels. Be sure not to bring up the main system menu, as this can crash the game when activating the cheat. Instead, press the left side of the touchpad to bring up this Quick Use menu, which works just fine for code entry. So just to reiterate, play through the opening prologue of the game until we defeat Marx, wait for the conversation with 9S to end, stand between the barrels in the room, press the left side of the touchpad to safely pause the game, then while holding R2, press up, down, up, right, left, square, circle, triangle, cross. And that's really all there is to it. After I showed this cheat code being activated publicly, Yoko Taro responded simply by stating 3 years, 10 months. The vague implication being that this was the amount of time it took for the final secret to be discovered. The English language NieR Automata Twitter account congratulated me, and soon after the Japanese Twitter account confirmed that this was indeed the aforementioned final secret that had been hidden these past years. While I did not initially reveal how to activate the cheat until releasing this video, after showing it in action, Twitter user Okep was fairly quick to figure it out themselves, and informed me that this sequence of button inputs was actually a cheat code in Bayonetta 2. And notably, the pattern of button presses actually traces out the studio logo for Platinum Games across the gamepad. Had I known this prior, it would have saved me the effort of reverse engineering the final part of the code, but regardless, by far the most complex part was finding the coordinates for where exactly to stand, more so than what buttons to press once there. Okep was also kind enough to keep this secret just a little longer to allow me to finish off this video, but I'd like to credit them with being the first to publicly replicate the code after I'd shown it off. So I hope you maybe found this a little interesting, and for fans of the game, it is nice to get some closure, knowing that there was indeed something left to be discovered all this time. As I mentioned, I have so much I'm excited to share with you from my work so far on NieR Automata, so if you do have a moment, please take the time to subscribe to keep up with my work here. If you did manage to enjoy this video, feel free to let me know by hitting the like button, or maybe leaving a friendly comment below. Either way, thank you for watching, I'll see you next time.